everyone, it's Bob from skiessentials.com.
It's Matt.
Hey, we're here for Top 5 Fridays, September 1st, Matt.
Can't believe it.
I know, and it's actually been somewhat chilly. You know, they refer to this as the start of meteorological fall.
Yeah.
You know, even though we got 3 weeks left of actual fall, of summer, but it was chilly last night.
Very chilly. It was like 50 degrees when I woke up this morning.
No, it feels good. Jeff is working diligently to finalize our ski test, putting in some extra hours, so we figured his time would be better served doing that, and you're stuck with me and Matt today. But we'll get through it like we always do.
Absolutely.
We are confident that we'll be launching that ski test next week, so stay tuned for that announcement. Should be pretty awesome. You know, Matt's been helping us out a lot, and just you know, definitely in the less glamorous portion of ski test production with the data entry and everything. But I think it looks great. What we've looked at so far looks awesome. So
Totally.
Stoked to see that come out. And that's it for housekeeping. With that, we can just get right into the news. Kind of all over the globe this year, with the exception of North America. But, you know, a lot of that news is kind of centered around the Southern Hemisphere. We have Australia-New Zealand Cup. So nice article from skiracing.com highlighting kind of this FIS, like spring training, I guess, preseason, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, it's an FIS event, but it doesn't go towards your next year's World Cup points. So this seems more like an opportunity for either injured skiers last year, younger skiers. You know, you're not seeing the top dogs in the world, but still obviously some very high-level racing. And U.S. ladies have been doing great. 2 GS races. First, you know, in first place went to AJ Hurt. Third, Nina O'Brien. Fourth, Ava Sunshine. Great ski name.
Absolutely.
So 3 out of the top 4. And then in next day's slalom, Hurt and Sunshine got 1 and 2. So nice results from these American ladies.
Totally.
Pretty cool.
Signs for the future.
Yep, definitely. And always interesting to kind of see how ski racing works in other parts of the world. You know, we get kind of, you know, conglomerated into our Northern Hemisphere ski racing program. It's interesting to see how it goes in the whole other half of the world. But that's topic number 1. I like topic number 2.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, you know, we were talking to Jeff about it before, and he is going to miss this one. Article from New Zealand Herald talking about how the black market private ski lesson thing is kind of coming to a head. And, you know, we've kind of, you know, we talk about it every now and then where basically the cost of lessons is cost of skiing is astronomical.
Yeah.
And then you add a lesson, whether it's group or private, to that, and you're boosting that number. So some either ski instructors or good skiers will offer their services to people at a much discounted rate. So, which is it's against the rules. I'm not clear whether it's illegal or not, if it's some type of theft of services, but certainly frowned upon.
Big gray area there.
Yeah. But in New Zealand specifically, at Treble Cove Resort, a gentleman named James Sorensen was teaching his friends how to ski, and a New Zealand ski instructor did not like it, Matt.
No.
And even took pictures and threatened to revoke his ski pass. I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taught many friends how
Right.
to ski.
Did you receive payment for those services?
No. Maybe
Yeah.
a beer at the end of the day, if you count that.
Where do you draw the line? That's where the gray area comes in. If you're not charging specifically, if maybe you're gratuity based, you know, maybe you're, exactly. I'll teach you how to ski, you teach me how to sail.
Yep.
You know, like maybe it's a bartering system. I think that there's a lot of gray area here with, you know, especially someone that doesn't necessarily know exactly what's going on, like the ski instructor who's, in my opinion, being pretty brazen, approaching, you know,
Totally.
a random person and calling him out for that. But in New Zealand, at this place specifically, an all-day private is $475 US. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
And you know, you can certainly hire a friend for less, or if you do like a group private and, charge each person, then you can make out pretty well.
Yep.
So, certainly is an interesting topic. Basically you're taking away from the ski school, from an employee perspective. If there's less people taking lessons, if you were an instructor, you'd get cut sooner and you wouldn't get paid for that day.
Yep.
So that's bad for the ski instructors. If you're involved in some type of money exchange system and someone gets hurt, then you're probably liable.
Yep.
And then you're taking from the mountain as well that makes a ton of money off of their ski school. That's one of the only places that ski area is trying to profit.
That and rentals.
Yeah.
And my parents were ski instructors for 25 plus years, so I've been part of this black market system since I was a little
Right.
one. So I mean, it's interesting. I'm interested to see how they mitigate it, how they manage it,
Yeah.
and all that, because it's tough. Because in the article it talks about there's full-on Facebook groups
Right.
that you can be a part of. So are they going to be monitoring that? Are they going to be like setting things up that they're like waiting for them to show up and get them? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Right. Or also like I teach my kids how to ski.
Yep.
Sometimes they bring a friend. Like I don't get paid, but like it's still, taking that potentially away from ski school. I'm using the mountain to teach my kids, whether I get paid or not. I don't, but I'm still using that area to teach my children how to ski, which
Yeah.
I'm sure is a totally different thing. But
Yeah. You paid for your ability
Right.
to use that
Right.
the mountain. So there's a lot of gray area.
Yeah, and I think that certainly some people are more brazen than others. If you're actually a ski instructor employed by the mountain and you're teaching someone out of uniform, when you're not working, like that's totally different. If
Yeah.
you're just a random person, like a paying customer there, like that's where the gray area comes in.
Totally.
So
Totally.
pretty interesting topic. I think that there's a lot more to say about that, but won't take up too much time. Number 3, the way I wrote my notes here, Matt, was Europe climate change bad. And
Nailed it.
I don't know what else there is to say. Articles from The Guardian and Euronews, basically pretty bleak reporting for Europe's winters. A lot of it's conditional, though. I don't know if you picked that up from the article. They're like, this will happen if these temperatures continue to rise.
Yep.
So basically they're saying that 25% of European resorts will be snow scarce, which is like the worst of a 5-year average, every other year if these trends continue. So like there's that condition.
Yeah.
And the condition, I don't keep up with like global temperature averages, but they're saying that the global average temperature would have to increase 4 degrees Fahrenheit in order to have this happen. That's the condition.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot to me.
It would take a
don't
long
know.
time. Like this is something kind of personal to me because I studied climate change in college.
Well, you're a great person to have for this topic then.
Yeah, so I mean that would take a long time to get to 4 degrees, but it's definitely faster than it's one of those exponential increases. It's
Yeah.
all feedback system. So once it starts, it's going to ramp up.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I would imagine something like this would happen by the later half of the century, but I mean it still it's inevitable at this point. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's what I took from this article was later generations are going to have a much different skiing experience than we did.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting to see that change unfold, as unfortunate as it is. But
And kind of the other thing that I took home, Europe, and this stat is crazy. I read it twice. Europe is home to 80% of the world's ski resorts. Did you read that?
yeah,
Did you
I
know
had
that?
no idea.
Okay, so Europe is home to 80% of the world's ski resorts. So like if that dwindles, if the skiing dwindles, that's pushing skiers elsewhere.
Yep.
So it's always kind of causing this funnel, kind of like we saw with Epic and what's the other one? Icon. Thank you.
Yep.
With these mega passes, kind of pushing people to these certain resorts. So by kind of shuttering European resorts and pushing people out, it's going to have another one of those effects. So I don't know how, I feel like skiing in general is not a very climate friendly sport.
No.
But they also, as an industry, seem to be at least aware of that and try to mitigate it as best as possible. You see a lot of green initiatives throughout all of these resorts. So whether it's making a difference or not, I feel like it's a drop in the bucket, but I guess everything helps.
Yep, everything helps.
So hopefully the world's temperature doesn't rise by 4 degrees.
Yep.
And then back to South America. This is kind of like the opposite of what we just talked about. They're getting hammered with snow. I'm sure you see stuff on the social medias these days as
Oh yeah.
you're in that generation, but it looks like they're getting a ton of snow. Argentina and Chile, Portillo 8 feet last week, Las Leñas 11 to 13 feet. I mean, that's the ceiling here, Matt. And then more coming back-to-back storms next week. So looking to hit those same spots again. PowderChasers.com reporting this article and, just basically setting themselves up, I think, for a nice fall.
Yeah.
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 Have you skied in the Southern Hemisphere ever?
I haven't. It's on the bucket list for sure.
Yeah.
But I want to loop this back to the climate change
Do it.
article. I think there's a big misconception with climate change as a whole. The main thing that we're going to start seeing are these crazy weather events.
Right.
Like last year, all those crazy snowfalls in Tahoe and California, and then not a whole lot here. There's just going to be these crazy weather events that go back and forth. So it'll be interesting because some of these places are going to get 8 feet of snow, and then
Right.
other places are going to get nothing, and it's just going to keep flip-flopping and until it's not very dependable. You
Right.
can't bank on anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm happy for Chile and Argentina, and we have a very close friend of ours that just moved down there, and I bet he's having a blast.
Yeah, it's funny. I've always wanted to go skiing down there, but I don't like to travel. So that keeps me around here. But it always looks super interesting. And, Portillo especially, just a very interesting environment overall. So
Totally.
hopefully they get a good rest of their season. And like you said, this isn't just hopefully this isn't the end of it and they keep getting consistent snow. But
Yep.
it doesn't seem like that's really the case so much anymore.
Yep.
But good for them. Happy skiing to our friends in the Southern and South America and those places.
Yep. Give us some this winter. That's all I'm asking.
Right.
Yep. Send it.
Send it up. Edits of the week. It is preview and teaser season, so we have 2 of those. First one, Who is Sim from Level 1, Jonah Williams and Gavin Rudy. Nice, just half a minute little preview as to, Level 1 always puts together great stuff. So
Oh yeah.
pretty cool to see that.
And Jonah's an amazing skier too. I love watching him.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Get Burnt from Entourage. That trailer came out, mix of street and POW. I prefer the POW to the street, but to each their own.
Yep.
But again, another nice looking little trailer there. And then 3, this is a weather forecast I think most of us can get behind. Donnie Pelletier was featured in one of the main weather stations giving the long range winter forecast. And to no surprise, it is very entertaining. So if you're fans of Donnie, make sure you check that out. Pretty cool to see on the actual news. That's kind of,
Yeah.
it's just a funny look. He's made it mainstream for sure. But yeah, that's it. That's edits of the week. That's news of the week. Be on the lookout for that ski test next week. It's a lot of skis. It's a lot of clicking. Don't be overwhelmed. There are avenues to reach out to us. You can ask Matt or I or Jeff or anyone here a pretty specific question about any skis that you're interested in. And then we're moving back into comparison season. So
Yep.
starting to gather some ammo for that as well. So right from one big project into another.
That's how it goes here,
Yeah.
right?
But hope everyone enjoys their long weekend. And moving into the fall, we will see you next week.